Susana Kennedy Show. It's that Kennedy. The crazy caring cat. The Susana Kennedy Show.
Master trader, entrepreneur, maverick, philanthropist, international speaker, and these are just a few terms that are used to describe Greg Secker. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks very much for having me on your show.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for making the time to be on the show, especially in the midst of all the wonderful family news and arrivals that are happening today.
Yes, well, I'm broadcasting to you direct from the Portland Hospital in London. So on the arrival of our little daughter 2 days ago. So that's where I am today.
Absolutely wonderful. Congratulations. I hear her name is India.
That's right, India Rose. So she's our third.
Your third baby. Very, very blessed. Is there a reason why is there a special connection to the name India Rose?
We fell in love with the name India. We went through so many different names, but that was the one that really popped out. And there's a family connection with the name Rose, so we felt India Rose was the right name, and everybody seems to agree. So we're pretty happy.
It's a wonderful, wonderful name. I wish you many, many happy memories with her.
Thank you.
Okay, let's dive in. I think, Greg, you are involved in so many different things. Perhaps let's start with what drives you. What drives you to do all these different things in life?
You know, I think the most important thing is to do something you love. And I think, you know, if you listen to the words of Richard Branson, he always says, you know, do fun and the money will come. And I think he just changed that recently to do good, have fun, and the money will come. And I've always believed in, you know, doing things that you're really passionate about. So for me, it's always been, you know, I've always kind of managed to make money getting really stuck into things, you know, in a really full, wholehearted way. And really exploring the full potential in all the different things I've been involved with, and that's really allowed me to be involved in so many diverse things. I've really just followed my heart and what I've really enjoyed doing. You know, I started off in sort of technology because I was fascinated by that, and that led into trading, and then trading led into speaking, and then speaking led into the world stage, and you know, then the world stage led into philanthropy, ultimately getting in front of people and motivating people, and then getting involved in charity work. So it's always been one thing sort of led on to another thing, which I guess as long as I've been passionate about it, sort of new doors have always seemed to have opened. I think it's when your passion drops and you're not really into something, I think that's when you've got to really identify it quickly and move into, you know, where your heart is, where you're really passionate.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you say do good, have fun, and the money will come, because that it seems to be a kind of worldwide movement at the moment, that before it was very much focused on the individual looking after themselves and kind of having fun and making their own dreams come true. But it seems to be moving more towards caring about humanity and caring about others as well as yourself. So this Sir Richard Branson is also your keynote speaker at the Success Summit, which is coming up now, which is the biggest event of its kind being held in South Africa, I think for the first time, isn't it?
It really is, and so Richard just joined the Giving Pledge, which was set up by Melinda and Bill Gates, which of course Warren Buffett joined. So that's really consistent with what you just said. And Richard will be one of the keynote speakers at the Success Summit. We're expecting about 5,000 people. We also have a real eclectic lineup of real world-class speakers. The real idea was not just to put people on stage who had been successful financially, but people who've been successful in really all areas of their life. So it's really a holistic seminar, you know, in the full sense of the word. You've got speakers who are, you know, real leaders in the area of spirituality. Those who then there's spiritual leaders such as, or entrepreneurial leaders such as Richard Branson. You've got the T. Harv Eker's team. He'll be bringing along Doug Nelson, who's the guy who really lectures on people on how to reach their full potential and how to crack the code to really shift their internal money blueprint. So he says that most of us live in a world where we feel we're worth a certain value, and therefore we take on activities which are consistent with that value, and we don't allow ourselves to go beyond that. So there's some really interesting mind technology that will be taking place as well, but it's really designed for people who want to take their businesses forward and their personal lives as well. So it's a real a real eclectic mix. It's a real world lineup. There's people coming from as far as Australia, New Zealand, obviously the UK and America. So it's going to be a hell of an event. It's the first of its type really in South Africa with so many people. We're expecting just over 5,000 now. So it's been really well received in South Africa.
Yes, it's very, very exciting. What gave you the idea to put something of this magnitude together and in South Africa?
Yeah, well, a couple of things. I speak about 10 times a year around the world at different success summits and the National Achievers Congress in Singapore and Sydney, Australia. And I normally speak alongside people like Donald Trump and Richard Branson, all the big names you've probably heard of before. And those events have gone really well. And my partner and I support a charity down in Port Elizabeth called the Ubuntu Education Fund, and we raise money for that charity doing fundraising activities in the UK predominantly. We were down in South Africa meeting the charity, giving them the big check that we'd raised, and somebody at a welcome braai said, and I'll translate that for UK audience.
That's very South African, a welcome braai.
Somebody said, why don't you run one of your because we run trading seminars across the world. They said, why don't you run a trading seminar teaching people how to make money trading the markets in South Africa? We really hadn't thought of doing that. South Africa is kind of a second home for me. My partner's from Cape Town. We support a charity in Port Elizabeth. So generally when we come to South Africa, it's not really to do business. It's more for either fundraising or just hanging out with the kids and spending time with family and friends. So we thought we'd do it for fun, and the response was absolutely incredible. We had people lined all down the streets of Johannesburg queuing up to get into this huge seminar we ran. And it was so successful, we decided we would open a business down in South Africa running trading events. And we found that there were a couple of interesting things. One was that people were really appreciative of having international speakers come to South Africa and share their wisdom. And secondly, there seemed to be, whilst people were so engaged and wanted to move their lives forward, there was a skills gap that was quite noticeable. Some of the speakers that are going to be coming from first world economies that are using the most cutting edge strategies and tools and systems to not just dramatically increase the effectiveness and the profitability of their businesses, but also how to massively reduce the cost, how to use social networking, how to use those most cutting edge tools. Some of that experience was missing from some of the people that came to work in our organizations that we had in Cape Town and in Johannesburg. And so it was whilst on a connection trip with some of the other entrepreneurs with the Branson team, we said, why don't we run a success summit in South Africa? Richard Branson agreed he would become one of the keynote speakers. And then, of course, we spoke to all the other speakers we work with around the world who are really regarded as real world class and number one in their game if they would come and attend, and they agreed. So we decided to put it on.
I think it's absolutely fantastic, and what an opportunity for South Africans to be a part of something like this.
Yeah, it really, really is. It's fantastic. You're back.
I'm back. I was just about to say one of the biggest challenges I think at the moment. Well, there are two very big challenges. When I was looking at what you predominantly do, is you focus on education in different levels, supporting the growth of people and education in business, and I agree completely.
Susana, you're back.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. I was saying about education, but the other important thing that is lacking is good internet in South Africa, good connectivity, and also affordable connectivity, because there's a whole world of business possibilities and business growth that has to do with having decent internet and affordable internet, and it's something that's really lacking in South Africa. as we are experiencing, unfortunately, right now during this interview. My apologies. But there's obviously a lot of other business strategies and business focuses that are going to be dealt with within the seminar that have nothing to do with online trading and that area of growth.
Yeah, there really is. There's everything from we took a good long hard look at it and said, how do we put together the most incredible event which doesn't just have online trading and internet, because obviously they're big things in the media at the moment. You've just seen all the Japanese, there was a big thing in the media recently all about these Japanese housewives who had made themselves multimillionaires trading the currency markets at home while their husbands were earning a fraction of what they're earning in their corporate jobs, which I thought was quite fun. But
did that have anything to do with you? Had they been Googling your tips?
Well, that had nothing to do with it. I really can't lay claim to that, sadly. But it's been really big news. You know, they've made a fortune, and there's this big club of women who are trading from home while their husbands go off to work to earn a fraction of what they earn, which I think is just quite hilarious and quite comical. But they are the largest foreign exchange trading nations, Japan. So there will be a bit of that. There'll be a bit of that, but really a small amount compared to the other things that you're going to learn. Obviously, you're going to hear from Sir Richard Branson. You're going to hear from Robert Allen. He's the guy that made $1 billion in the US in the last 10 years, teaching people, actually selling information. So he's what's known as an infopreneur. So he actually teaches people how to make money selling their knowledge and selling their advice, and how to make themselves real sort of trusted, well-respected captains of industry. So he's really brilliant at that, and he's taught over 1 million people, and collectively they've made $1 billion. So he's really one of the godfathers of the personal development world in America. So fortunately, we managed to grab him. We got Laurel Langmarsh. She's a real one of the top business coaches in the world. She's the lady that says, "I'll show anyone how to make $100,000 in a year within a year." And she's got this incredible system that she guarantees if you lay down and do the steps that she prescribed, you will be successful. We've got Scott Harris, who's one of Tony Robbins, probably one of the top personal development trainers in the world, head coach. He's going to be there. He's going to be emceeing the entire event and teaching you not just how to become successful financially or from a business standpoint, but also how to make sure you keep your health intact at the same time. So we're having some sponsors come in and showing people how to massively increase their energy. So they can't just be effective in their business life, but also whilst keeping themselves feeling and looking good and making sure they've got enough energy to complete all the incredible tasks they want to complete throughout the year. So it's a real mix of everything you would need. If we tried to sit down and say, if you could put everything together, what are all the tools you could put together and strategies that will allow people to become successful? And simply just focusing on money we felt wasn't enough. It had to be a bit about contribution, giving back, a bit of spirituality, but also, the quality of your life is often in direct proportion to the amount of energy that you have on a daily basis. There's no point in waking up feeling lousy with 50 tasks to do and not the energy to do it. So there's a real focus on how to make sure you look after yourself in the process, so you really can win the game. So so you'll see there's a real eclectic mix, which will be entertaining and keep people very inspired, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I've looked through your speakers. In fact, I'm interviewing a number of them, which I'm very excited about, over the next week and a half, 2 weeks leading up to the summit. And I think you've covered such a good base of everything that, at least that I think success is a very personal thing. Everybody has their own version of it, but to achieve many different versions of success in people's lives, I think you've got a great group of people to get you there. On that note, what is your definition of success for yourself?
The Susana Kennedy Show. It's that Kennedy. The crazy caring cat. The Susana Kennedy Show.